am sure by now you've heard about the intestinal parasite going around America causing forms of Giardia. And the cases are skyrocketing. Well, you don't need to fall for it, and there's definitely something you could do about it. So before we get into this, I do want to take a moment and thank Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for not just supporting this channel, but being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ by building orphanages all over this world, having battered women's shelters, having food pantries, serving hot meals. They are literally being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ, why there is such a great partner for us. So I'm going to put their link below. Through that, you can find their Giving Hope link. Check out their ministries. If there happens to be one that's near and dear to your heart, and you are in the market for a car, I recommend you buy a car from them. That way, a portion of those proceeds go right back into the ministry and not just into some dealer's pocket who might be just right down the street to you for convenience. That link is below. So what are we getting at here? Well, as you've of course heard, there is an intestinal parasite going around causing a form of Giardia that's quite terrible. Some people I know have had it, and it sounds terrible. It's a description I've heard that I won't definitely share with you here. But this, similarly to really some other things we've been dealing with in the past, originated in China. And as we saw about 6-7 months ago, there was a big problem in China, and now it's made its way to us. And here we are dealing with it. Well, here's why you need to not worry about it. Because generally speaking, best case scenario, you're going to be super sick for a while. Worst case scenario, you might be hospitalized. Now, you don't have to be either one of those things because the cure for it is metronidazole. Now, what I'll say about that is, you have to get it first. So when you're super sick, you might be able to get some. And that's assuming your insurance approves it and all this other stuff. Well, you can get it through Jace right now. Jace specializes in emergency meds. You can get emergency antibiotics. You can get metronidazole. You can get ivermectin if you're worried about COVID. And all these are from a U.S. doctor coming from a U.S. pharmacy. So again, the metronidazole is the big one right now because you can have it on hand. That way, if you or anybody in your family gets it, you have it. And that's kind of the point of emergency meds. We were dealing with this thing with COVID where everybody said, oh, ivermectin will kill you. But even the CDC has now come out and said that they skewed the data on this, that they were giving 100 times the amount that you would give a full-grown adult of ivermectin. And then, of course, it was causing problems. But now but you're not going to take that much. And that's why now they admit that ivermectin actually does help cure COVID. And it actually is not a danger to people. So it's kind of an opportunity for you to kind of take control of all these fear tactics and just put them aside and say, some COVID virus come, you got some ivermectin on hand. Giardia coming, you have some metronidazole on hand. Anything else happen, you have emergency antibiotics on hand. And not to mention chronic meds. I'm dealing with a heart issue right now. I'm on 13 medications. Most of them are preparing me for a procedure that I'm having on May 1st. So I don't think I'll be on those very long. But there's a few of them I'll be on for the rest of my life. Let's just face it. And now I have a year's supply on hand for these particular meds from Jace. So when we looked at what happened with United Health just a few months ago where they got hacked and all of a sudden if you had United Health and you were trying to get your meds, you didn't, or you had to pay full price. It was up to you. There was a period of time where my son was on these shots for about 5 years. He had to take a shot every day. And those shots cost $40,000 a month. With insurance, they were $40,000. So for some reason, something happened where they're like, oh, well, now you can't get them. Like I would have to become a bank robber or something. But now what we can do is we have Jace Medical, because what they saw was they saw an America that is very broken in that Every adult and child in this country should have emergency antibiotics and emergency meds on hand. Period. Everybody should. Anything happens, you're hosed if you don't, especially if your children are leaning on that stuff. I believe that too. Every single American should have emergency antibiotics and their emergency chronic meds on hand. Period. This should be a government thing. The government should be making sure we have this. This is just common health. So, there you go. I recommend get a hold of some metronidazole quickly because that's going around right now. Let's say you don't get it. Well, you have it ready in case you do. I've also found through Jace, a lot of this stuff is cheaper than it is from the pharmacy with insurance. It's just cheaper just to go through them than to go through something with insurance. So check out their link. I do have a coupon code. It's going to save you a little bit of money. But I recommend you got chronic meds, have emergency chronic meds, have emergency antibiotics, and have things as they pop up like that ivermectin or the metronidazole. Just have them on hand in case. That way you don't got to end up hospitalized or leaning on some doctor to give you the right meds or hoping that, your insurance will come through for some of that. It's just all nonsense. Take control of it. And Jace is the only one that offers that opportunity from a U.S. doctor and a U.S. pharmacy. So that link is below. Any thoughts or insight on this? Definitely put that below as well. Again, we got a coupon code to save you a little bit of money. Emergency antibiotics, chronic meds, metronidazole, ivermectin, all that stuff, and a lot more at Jace. And I've found, again, often it's cheaper than even with your insurance from a pharmacy. So written from a U.S. doctor, coming from a U.S. pharmacy. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, so never, ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.